Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Skill Stream. In today's video, we will learn about virtual based class and we're gonna solve one program. Okay, so let's get started. Yes. So in this slide, as you can see this image consists of 4 classes, class A, B, C and D. All the classes are connected to one another, right? So this is one of the example of hybrid inheritance as well, right? So class A, B and C is giving me hierarchical inheritance. Class B, C and D is giving me multiple inheritance. Okay, so this is a hybrid inheritance. But what is virtual base class? Okay, so virtual base class is nothing but a base class where we declare a common base class as virtual with the help of a keyword virtual. Getting? Now focus on this diagram, the image. In this image you can see class A is a base class for class B and C. Class D is a derived class for B, C as well as for A, right? So the properties, the data of class A is inherited via class B, that you can say via path 1. The data of class A is inherited to class D via path 2, that is via class C. So now when we have two separate paths going to only one derived class, what is the meaning of this? The class D will have duplicate set of data of class A, right? So to avoid this duplication, we will declare the common base class. Class A is common, so we will declare it as virtual. Got it? Again, the properties of class A is coming via class B to class D. The property of class A coming to class D via class C. But why we need same data twice, right? That is, we don't need any kind of duplication. So for avoiding the duplication, we need to declare common base class. This is a common base class, class A, as virtual. Let's move on to the syntax. Class A will have its own data variables as well as functions, right? Class B is a derived class. For class B, class A is a base class, public virtual A. So I need to use a keyword virtual before the name of base class, right? Class B will have its own data variables and its own functions. Okay, coming to class C, virtual public A. For class C, class A is a base class, right? Class C will have its own data variables and functions, right? We can either use public virtual or virtual public. Both will work. Now, coming to class D. Class D is a derived class. Class B, class C are the base classes. Class D will have its own data variables, functions. And by declaring a class A as virtual, only one copy of A is inherited. So that's what we are avoiding, duplication, by declaring common base class as virtual. Okay, moving on to the example. So in this example we have 4 classes, same like an image. So you can see class student is connected to test, class test is connected to result, again class student is connected to sports, sports class is connected to result. So in this case I will get duplicate set of this data via test class into result class. I can get duplicate set of this data via sports class to result. So in this scenario we will declare this student class as virtual. Okay, we will just execute this and we'll see the result. Class student will have its own data which is given in question. We will just take one student ID, public void get data. So get data function is used for taking user's input by giving message to the user, enter student ID. Cin along with extraction operator, name of a variable. Now put data. Put data we will just use cout statements for displaying the information. Student ID is colon right. So that's what about class student. Then class test colon. For class test colon we have student as a base class, but to avoid the duplication what we need to do here is declare it as virtual with the help of virtual keyword. Now it will have its own data, that is public float percentage, void get data 1. So to avoid the confusion I am not taking same member functions, get data, I am giving different name like get data and get data 1, right? Cout, we don't have to use this semicolon. Cout enter percentage. Cin percentage. Now we will write put data 1. Put data will have only cout statement wherein we are just displaying the final result. That's all for class test. Then class sports colon virtual public student character grade Cout, enter grade, in grade. Curly bracket and semicolon indicates end of class. We need to end the class with curly bracket and semicolon. Public, not need to write public, void, put data 2, Cout, enter, not enter, Cout grade, okay. Now coming to our last class, that is class result. Class result is having public was the name of first class, test, comma, public sports. So what we just do in this class is, we don't need to have a variable over here. What we simply do, I'll take a member function in which I'll call all the classes get data and put data, starting with the first class, common class, that is student class, scope resolution operator, get data. Okay, first we will take all the input from a user, test, scope resolution operator, get data 1. What is this 4 dots? These dots are called as scope resolution operator. Sports colon colon, scope resolution operator tells that this particular function, suppose get data 2, is in the scope of sports class, right? So after calling all the input functions, input function in the sense we are taking input from a user. So after calling all the get data, what we need to do is we need to display. So instead of get data, for displaying we have put data function, right? Okay, so that's all. Just go through the code once for checking the curly bracket open close. See, curly bracket and semicolon indicates end of class, okay. So now it's time to write main, wherein we will create object of derived class and then to call the function object name dot function name. Yes, the output. Enter student ID, enter percentage, enter grade. Why this is coming as blank, right? So what we need to do here is, I forgot to write the variable name. Okay, don't do that mistake and get confused. Input data, this is a put data, right? When I am displaying a message grade, I need to write the name of variable in which we have stored grade variable. So write down grade. Okay, now let's check again. I need to close this. Yes. Enter student ID, enter percentage, enter grade. No, I need to rebuild it. Yes. Okay. So after entering the input, you can check the output. So virtual base class is same like hybrid inheritance. There is a slight difference in writing the syntax using a keyword virtual. When to use virtual keyword? When we have 4 classes connected and we need to declare one common base class as virtual. Okay, so that's all for today. Thank you.